Okay, so first I was going to cover the expansion draft, which I thought went okay. We lost Morgan Geeky, basically no side deals. I'll take that. Didn't want to lose Jake Bean, and so that was fine. I was kind of having faith, heading into the off season. The only thing I was nervous about was Carolina's inability to sign pending free agents. It seems like Carolina's really bad at that. We almost let Rod Brindamore walk. So yeah, and then this trade happens, which is pending RFA Alex Nedeljkovic, who has now re-signed with Detroit for $3 million a year in exchange for Jonathan Bernier and a third round pick. That this is the worst trade in Hurricanes hockey history. I've looked through Hurricanes trade history. I think there's been some losses, some maybes, and everything, but no, this is the worst trade in Hurricanes history. No matter how you scratch this trade, it is bad. Carolina has had struggle finding goaltending since the latter half of Cam Ward's run as a Carolina Hurricane, whether it was Scott Darling, Cam Ward for the latter half of his run, and yeah, and then or Peter Mrazek, who actually did okay for us, but he's a pending UFA. Um, it's just been hard to find it, and then we get the guy. We get the guy who is our goalie of the future, most likely, has an amazing rookie season run with Carolina, goes toe to toe with Vasilevsky, and actually does okay. So, other than that game four collapse, but that was on the whole team, not just Delkovich. And we trade him for a third round pick. And not only is it not only in this draft, but it is a crap shoot of a draft. In Carolina, they have to do big stuff in the season. To me, after making this trade, you have to be able to re-sign Dougie Hamilton, you have to sign Svechnikov, and you have to sign Jake Bean because, you can't go through every season just not being able to re-sign your players. And how are we supposed to sign free agents? Because to me, it comes back Carolina's terrible at signing contracts. Aho had to get offer sheeted, though granted a lot of people were struggling to sign RFAs that year. But Aho had to get offer sheeted, and Brindamore took forever to get re-signed when Brindamore not only was willing to take a pay cut, but also wanted to stay in Carolina. His only option was staying in North Carolina to coach the Carolina Hurricanes, and that took forever. Carolina is just really bad at signing free agents, and not only that, we have yet to sign Andrei Svechnikov, who is an RFA. We haven't signed Dougie Hamilton. We didn't sign Nedeljkovic, but apparently he's worth a third to us. Oh, and a pending UFA. My mistake. And yeah, so it's terrible. There's something about the signing of pending free agents that Carolina struggles with. How are we going to re-sign Aho when he's a pending UFA? Jordan Staal has 2 years left on his contract. How are we going to re-sign him when he's a pending UFA? How are we going to re-sign anyone when they're becoming a pending UFA? Because we can't even re-sign Nedeljkovic for apparently more than 1.5 for 2 years. Are you kidding me? 3 years, like $3 million. Yeah, that might be a little bit of money for a rookie goaltender, but it's only for 2 years, so it's not like you're stuck with that contract. It's just ridiculous to me. There's no other way to put it. This is the worst trade in Hurricanes history. The worst move was re-signing Alexander Semin for as much as we did, but just pure trade-wise, this is probably the worst one. And, I don't know what Steve Yzerman, I would love to get a sales lesson from Steve Yzerman because there's something about his ability to sell it because there's just no way this trade makes sense when you break it down. So here's other small aspects that make the trade worse. Jonathan Bernier was not going to re-sign to Detroit, so he was going to become an unrestricted free agent anyway. The third round pick is Vegas's third. It's not even Detroit's third, so we're actually we're trading for a late third round pick, which is basically an early fourth. And what's the last one? And if I look this up, if we just qualified Nedeljkovic, didn't worry about re-signing him and just let him get offer sheeted, we would have gotten a second round pick out of the $3 million. So even when you break it down and just letting him walk because he's an RFA, we get more money. This is bad. I mean, there's no other way around it. This is a terrible deal. It doesn't make sense on any fronts whatsoever. The analytical front, the eyesight front, the just contract front, the asset management. There's no way this trade makes sense, especially when you got as many pending free agents as you do. And then, the other thing is, because now we need to sign a goalie, because we need to find a starting goalie. Let me just pull this list up again here. I had the list, but the main one was Chris Drieger. So yeah, here we go. So the top pending free agent was Chris Drieger. He's going to go to Seattle. They had him at the presentation. Chris Drieger is going to be a Seattle Kraken. Tuukka Rask, who's 34 years old for Boston. Frederik Andersen, who is on the decline, especially given his weak run with Toronto and getting outperformed by, I forget his name, but the new Toronto starter. Devin Dubnyk, maybe that might be okay, but he is 35, so that's not a long-term solution that Nedeljkovic could have brought. Antti Ranta, who's 32, maybe. I mean, yeah. Shesterkin, would be a solid option, but he's 25 years old. James Reimer, who we have yet to re-sign, so that one's on us. Philip Grubauer, who's 29, maybe, but I mean, I don't think he's been as good as Nedeljkovic. Peter Mrazek, who's a pending UFA. Jonathan Bernier, who is a pending UFA, also on our team. Carter Hutton, who played for Buffalo. He played for Buffalo, that's all I need to say. David Riddick, maybe Olmark. Olmark would be like 29 years old. Olmark might be the guy there, but even then, just going down the list, Halak, he's a backup. Nelson, Corey Schneider, no. Henrik Lundqvist, that would be fun to see him in a Canes jersey. Saros is an RFA. Maybe we'll trade him for a third because apparently that's what pending RFAs are worth. Samsonov is an RFA. Miller's retired, but that would be fun to see him in a Canes jersey. And now we're getting into depth goalies. So, yeah, this is just really bad. This was going to be a video on the expansion draft, but Carolina fucked up a trade so much. I just had to talk about that for a bit. And Morgan Geekie, it sucks to lose him. But now it's like, all right, here's what Carolina needs moving forward. They need gritty depth. So, just sign some free agents who are good at depth. They now need a starting goalie because they just traded Nedeljkovic for a third and a pending UFA. And so they need that front depth. They need to re-sign their pending UFAs and RFAs. And yeah, this is one of the worst trades I've seen it. This isn't one of the worst trades in Hurricanes history. This is one of the worst trades I've seen a team make. I still think the cake is Florida when they tried asset managing the Vegas Golden. No, it was Columbus and Florida made some really bad trades when it came to Vegas expansion draft to keep some of their players that were unprotected protected. But yeah, just no matter how you slice it, this is one of, if not the worst trades in Hurricanes history already. Because there's just so much more, I don't want to say more better. There's just a lot of better ways they could have done this move. They could have if I was the GM, which, normally I say, thank God I'm not. If just for this trade alone, I wish it was the GM. I would have just been like, qualify Nedeljkovic, let him get offer sheeted for $3 million, take the second round pick, and then sign Bernier for free. So it's basically a second in Nedeljkovic for Bernier if you want Bernier. But yeah, Drieger would be the guy to go for, but Seattle picked him up, and Seattle's going to make sure he's part of their team. So there you go. That's it. If you guys enjoy the content I'm producing on the channel, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. If you want to help build a Canes community, which right now I don't know why you would, share the video, and I'll see you guys. Click the bell if you want to get notified when I upload off-season kind of updates, is I guess what I would call this. And I'll see you guys for just any Canes stuff coming up.